Today we're taking a look at one of the most powerful direct drive wheelbases from Fanatec. This is the Podium Wheelbase DD2, aimed at the high-end sim racing market, supporting a maximum torque of 25 Newton meters. I'll be testing it out with the Clubsport Pedals V3 and the Clubsport Formula V2.5X steering wheel. So I'll be showing you around each of the components, together with showing you how to get them all set up, including the Fanatec software and the functionality you have there. Plus I'll go through the main features, testing them out to tell you how it feels and performs when racing, highlighting any pros and cons to help you decide if it's worth getting or not. But before I begin, if you're new to the channel, hope you can support me by subscribing and hitting the bell icon to get notified of my next release. And if you have any questions, then drop them in the comment section below. Let's begin by opening up the DD2 packaging. It comes in quite a large, heavy box, and you have to slide the latches on either side to enable you to lift off the top, revealing the contents. Inside you get a braided USB-A to USB-B cable, two RJ12 cables, a travel adapter which takes a European plug and connects to a UK socket, a power cable which has a European plug and a kettle connector, a kill switch with a remote power button, the Podium Wheelbase DD2, some instructions and stickers, an RJ12 Torx key, some screws, and finally the power adapter. Taking a closer look at the Podium DD2 wheelbase, it weighs in at 7.42 kilograms with a solid build quality, providing 25 Newton meters of torque, and it's one of Fanatec's most powerful wheelbases with both PC and Xbox compatibility. It has an all aluminium housing with carbon fiber cover plates on the top, left and right sides, finished in a matte black. At the front you've got Fanatec written, and below you have the connection points where you can connect your steering wheel. The collar is painted gold and supports their full range of wheels with their quick release mechanism, plus there's a nut which you can turn to lock the wheel into position. At the top front there's a 2.7 inch OLED display that has a 256 by 64 resolution that gives you the ability to tune the wheelbase and see real-time motor and force feedback info. Coming around the back you have the power button and connection ports to connect all your accessories, including a power input. Underneath you've got 5 holes for mounting the wheelbase to a sim cockpit, plus there's also mounting holes on the front and sides, providing you a lot of flexibility. Onto the pedals, and I have the Clubsport Pedals V3. In the packaging you get some instructions and stickers, a bottle of lithium grease, one RJ12 cable, a braided USB-A to USB-B cable, a couple of strong springs for the throttle and clutch, 3 pedal extensions, and finally the pedals. Taking a closer look at the pedals, they come pre-assembled, made of aluminium with a solid build qualities. There's 3 pedals, so a clutch, brake and throttle. The packaging comes with pedal extension plates that have a D-shaped design, providing pedal plate angle adjustment of the whole pedal arm. And you get full adjustment of the clutch and brake pedal plates together with the ability of adjusting the pedal position on the plate. The brake pedal has a 90 kilogram adjustable load cell, providing a realistic braking experience with adjustable brake stiffness without the need for any tools. The throttle pedal has a vibration motor to indicate rear wheel spin and oversteer, and there's also a vibration motor in the brake to simulate ABS and locking tires. Moving on to the Clubsport Formula V2.5X steering wheel and the Podium Advanced Paddle module. In the Clubsport Formula wheel packaging you get some documentation, some stickers and a bag containing the wheel. The wheel has a 270mm diameter with a 5mm solid carbon fiber front plate. At the top there's a 3-color rev LED RGB rev indicator, 11 buttons which aren't illuminated, of which 3 are rotary encoders. There's 2 two-way toggle switches, 2 12-way multi-position switches with encoder functionality, and 4 left, right, up and down directional inputs and push buttons. The buttons and dials are ergonomically placed so everything is at close reach when driving. The grips are perfectly formed with a good feel to them, covered in genuine Alcantara with integrated vibration motors. Coming around the back you've got the connection point for the quick release mechanism, and this has to be purchased separately and attached onto the wheel and allows you to swap out wheels. Then we have the black anodized aluminium paddle plates. These are 3mm thick and have a really nice feel to them. And finally we have the Podium Advanced Paddle module. In the packaging you get 8 carbon fiber 3mm shifters, 4 large for the GT steering wheels and 4 small for the Formula steering wheels. There's 2 shifter modules for each side of the wheel with pre-mounted gold anodized aluminium with dual magnetic paddles and 2 Allen keys. I'll be setting up and testing the Fanatec DD2 on my sim cockpit from Track Racer. This is the TR120 and my screen is the LG OLED C1 that's 55 inches in size, which is attached to the monitor stand that's also from Track Racer. It's pretty easy to attach the DD2 wheelbase as there's 5 mounting holes under it and 2 screw holes on either side. I'll be mounting the DD2 using screw holes on the sides. Just place the wheelbase in position and insert the screws, then tighten. With the pedals, you can attach them directly onto the universal plate using the screws and nuts. The kill switch should be installed in a convenient location where you can easily get to it in case you run into any issues. I've added 2 brackets so that it can be securely attached and held in position. Plug in the cable into the back of the wheelbase for the kill switch, pedals, power, and add in the torque key, which is required to unlock the full 25 Newton meters of torque, and then attach the steering wheel. Line it up and push it into position, then pull back on the quick release and push it in further. Then you just turn the nut behind it and this locks the wheel into position so it can't be pulled off. Let's move on and get this set up on my PC, and I'll show you the different apps you have available. Search Google for Fanatec driver and click the first link on the page. Click download, which will begin downloading the files. Once installed, click through the setup wizard, remembering to select the install Fanatec tray application as this is required if you want to use their mobile app. Then click the install and restart your computer after installation. After you restart, you'll have the Fanatec control panel installed. Turn on the wheelbase and you'll see it calibrate. Then accept the safety warning, start up the Fanatec control panel, and the first thing you'll be presented with is a window indicating there's a new firmware available. Open up the firmware manager, click OK to the prompts and click update, then give it a few minutes to update, then move on to the calibration options and you're done. Looking around the Fanatec control panel, you'll see each of the devices you have connected to your PC, and standard modes gives you some basic options. Going into the tuning menu, you have auto setup, which will automatically pick up the best settings depending on the games you're playing. You can flip over to the advanced mode, giving you even more granular level adjustability, and flipping between the different devices, you can see the different adjustability you have available. They've introduced an Android and iOS app allowing you to make changes on the fly from your mobile, and you can even use your phone as a racing display, which is pretty cool, but this functionality is only supported on a PC and not on a console, as it requires you to have the Fanatec Tray app installed, which is now part of the control panel installation package. There's also another app called Fanalab, and to get this, search Google for Fanatec Fanalab, download, and the first link you're presented with takes you to the Fanatec forum. Click this link and scroll down. You'll find the download link for the installation package. Run the installation accepting the default options, then launch the app. It has the same tuning menu as the Fanatec control panel for the wheelbase, with additional config options for dynamic, force feedback, vibration control, allowing you to adjust vibration levels on the wheel and pedals. You can also adjust the LED rev lights and adjust the intelligent telemetry mode, where the display outputting on the wheelbase can be customized. Then there's the game profiles, where you can have different configs or settings on different games, so lots of customization available. Plus you have the ability to make changes directly from the wheel, making things really convenient. Now let's test this out and see how well it performs, but the first thing to note is that power on the wheelbase is capable of reaching a peak torque of 25 Newton meters, matching the torque output in most real race cars using power steering, hence why it's used by the pros. Now this level of power is a massive step up if you're coming from a mid-range wheel like the Fanatec CSL DD, which can reach 8 Newton meters of torque. Now with the peak torque levels being 25 Newton meters, if you lose control in a race and the wheel starts spinning around, it can be quite dangerous, hence why you've been provided a kill switch in the packaging. So if you needed to suddenly stop the wheelbase, just hit the kill switch and this instantly shuts down the wheelbase. If you end up using the kill switch, you won't be able to turn the wheelbase back on until you release the kill switch by turning it clockwise. There's also the torque key that limits the performance to 8 Newton meters if it's not plugged in. And now finally onto the racing experience, which I'll be testing on Assetto Corsa and Assetto Corsa Competizione. The racing experience on this feels really good, with the wheel being pretty smooth, refined, and giving an awesome amount of detail from bumps, curbs, and the track itself. The torque levels at 25 Newton meters do feel a bit intense if you're not used to it, especially in the longer races. But obviously this can be adjusted and reduced so you can build up to it slowly. but I was pretty comfortable with it around the 16 Newton meters mark with the settings in the Fanatec control panel set to auto, giving a good racing experience on their recommended presets without tweaking anything straight out of the box. The DD2 wheelbase is very quiet, and even after playing for a couple of hours doesn't feel warm, and there isn't any loss of performance or any worry of overheating. The racing experience from the wheelbase is really good. You can feel the force feedback accurately from the track when you're going around corners, hitting the curb, or even driving on different surfaces. But it's definitely worth having to play around with the customization settings to get your sweet spot with this. Moving on to the wheel, and it feels incredible. The paddle shifters have an excellent feel to them, the grips are perfectly formed and have a great feel to them, but best to drive with gloves to keep the Alcantara in good condition. The controls on the wheel are all easy to reach, and there's enough customization on the app to tailor your settings on the buttons and dials, so very impressed with this. There's even vibration motors built into the wheel, giving subtle vibrations, adding to the realism, which you can adjust in the Fanalab app. Onto the pedals, and these are so good, with them feeling precise underfoot with no flex on them. The clutch feels good when using it, and the brake pedal with a 90 kilogram load cell works well and feels more precise, feeling solid and rigid, giving you a realistic braking experience. The accelerator feels smooth and retracts back well when transitioning to the brake pedal, but the cool thing here is that you have the vibration motors on the brake and accelerator, adding to the realism. So for example, on the throttle pedal, which indicates rear wheel spin and oversteer, and on the brake pedal it simulates ABS and indicates locking tires. The DD2 wheelbase is compatible with both a PC and Xbox, but this is dependent on the wheel you're using. So in this instance, the Clubsport Formula V2.5X steering wheel is Xbox compatible, but the level of detail you get on a PC is much better than what you get on a console, depending on the type of games you intend to play. So for instance, if you're planning to play more arcade type games like Forza Horizon 5 or Dirt 5, then the experience is very similar. But if you're planning on more sim racing titles like Accelerator Corsa Competizione, then you'd be better off going down the PC route for a more detailed racing experience. So overall, the experience with the setup is phenomenal, and I can see why this is classed as a pro setup. So in summary, I'm blown away with the Fanatec DD2 direct drive wheelbase with the Clubsport Formula V2.5X steering wheel and the Clubsport Pedals V3, all built to an excellent standard with a solid build quality, coming in at the top end of the sim racing market, with the wheelbase being compatible with both a PC and Xbox. But with a system like this, you'd be best to play on a PC due to the level of detail you can get when playing sim racing titles. The DD2 provides 25 Newton meters of torque, matching the torque level outputs on most real race cars using power steering. And it's good to see it's a plug-and-play setup. Plus, with Fanatec's vast ecosystem, you have a large number of wheel options, a shifter, or even a handbrake to choose from. If you were upgrading from something like a CSL DD and wanting to race at the higher torque levels, then you'd gradually want to build up to it, as jumping right in at the high level can be a bit too intense and cause fatigue, especially if you're doing long races. The customization in the Fanalab software on a PC is excellent, and with the auto setting being pretty good straight out of the box. But if you do get the wheelbase, it's definitely worth having a play about with the settings to get the optimal setup for you. I like the fact you also have a mobile app to change settings on the fly without the need to reset the game. Overall, I'm really impressed with the DD2 wheelbase. Definitely a pro wheel that's worth getting if you're planning on taking your sim racing journey to the next level. So there you have it. You've come to the end of another video, and I hope it's helped anyone thinking of purchasing this. Details are in the description below, including purchasing links. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And for those of you who got to the end of this video, please leave a comment with DD2, as it's nice to see who got to the end of my video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. You can follow me on my socials, and don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to be notified of my next release. Thanks for viewing, and see you in the next one.